Python communities, and especially in the East Asia region. In these sessions, he will share about the development sprints which have been co-management of the Python community, which help all of us to have to develop a healthy ecosystem in Python. Please join me to welcome Mr. Kim.
Hi, my name is Younggun. I'm from Korea. Actually, this is my second time to PyCon Hong Kong. So back in 2015, it was first PyCon Hong Kong, and I gave a talk exactly the same room here. So it's really exciting and really nice to meet you again. Today, I'm going to talk about the development sprint. The development sprint is, I think it's a hidden weapon of Python community. So today I share what I found about the development sprints and sharing the PyCon Korea's case. So maybe if you're familiar with the Agile methodology, then you might think about another different sprints. But in Python community, Python world, we use the sprint words a bit differently. So according to the dictionary, sprint means that learn at full speed over a very short distance. So you can imagine that development sprint is like something like the real sprint. So this is the description of development sprints. I excerpted it from the PyCon US homepage. Development sprints are the key part of the PyCon. So if you ever attend PyCon US, there's 4 days of sprint sessions, so which is a day longer than usual conferences. So usually in PyCon US, there's 3 days of conference and 4 days of sprint days. So during the sprint day, what can I say? Very skilled developers who are responsible for famous open source projects, they are paired up with newbies who really want to contribute to the project. So they are picking up in this small room and spend 4 days to advance their project. So during the sprints, they do tests, do fix bugs, and add new features, and discuss about the improvement or future development roadmap, and also they improve the documents. So all the project-related activities will happen in the sprint days. And that's not all about the sprints. During the sprint days, they can network or make friends and build some kind of comradeships. So it's something like beyond the conference. So I think this makes the PyCon conference is very familiar, friendly, and inclusive to all the attendees. So sprints are very interesting and unique activity in PyCon conferences. So that's why people are talking about the development sprints. So you can find many kind of blog posts or even a conference talk about talking about the development sprints. They explain what the development sprint is and why it is really good culture of Python community. And you can find well, it's laggy, yeah. You can find a video on YouTube. So in the picture, Jessica McKellar is very famous for her work on Twisted, and she promoted the development sprints. So the title is "A Sprint is Awesome." So So in this video, so many famous Python developers promoting the development sprint. So let's talk about my experience. This is Pandas sprint in Montreal, 2015-14, I guess. So it was my first development sprint. So actually, I thought that contributing to open source is really, really hard to someone like me who don't really developing. So I was kind of hesitating to attend development sprints because I'm not good at programming, and I think that contributing to open source is the only job for very skilled, good programmers. But I was so shocked because before the sprint days, there's a workshop on Git and GitHub usage. So I thought that contributing to open source is only for the very skilled developers. And of course, they know very well about the Git and GitHub. So I think it's not necessary thing. But so many people came to the workshop and they learn how to use Git and GitHub. Even some people just registered GitHub in the workshop, during the workshop. So that's the first thing I shocked. And the second thing is that, so yeah, I admit this is my misunderstanding, but at that time I thought that very skilled, famous programmers are a bit arrogant, so they don't like to hanging out with newbies. But during the sprint days, the core developers of the very famous project is paired up with newcomers. So it's quite a surprise. And third one is literally I spending all the 4 days without my bedtime. So we spend all the day during the sprint days. We are, improving the project and having have a lunch, dinner, and sometimes we drink beer together. So we spend 4 days of the sprint days, and we know each other very well, and kind of sense of comradeship. And I'm still connected with the developers who I met from the development sprints. And the first one is I thought that sending a PR is the last activity during the development sprints, but it wasn't. So sending a pull request is just the beginning. So with that pull request, we discuss about the changes, and the core contributors reviewed my code, and they gave me some feedback, and I had to adopt their advice. So I need to revise my commits. So I took only a day to make my first pull request, but spent three other days to revise my commits. So it's quite, at that time I was a bit frustrated because I was very, so making pull requests is really, really hard at that time. But after that, I have to spend 3 more days to revise the pull request. It was way more harder jobs for me. And final one is the contribution spikes. So as you can see, in the middle there's a spike in the contribution graphs. So it was by the development sprint days. Actually, it was a worldwide pandas documentation sprints. I knew that there's the the same sprint in Hong Kong. Only the day there's over 100 of pull requests was made. So seeing that contribution spike is really exciting, because it means the project is in improvement. Okay. So yeah, I need to speed up. Okay. So this is the essential part of our community. So I really want to introduce the development sprint to my country. So PyCon Korea have a very iconic all attendance name word. So in the name word, everyone's name is on the word. So we value the diversity and we value our attendees so that we can make our conference together. But saying diversity is like, so we are developer community, but without developing something, I think it's a quite nonsense. So so I want to make this respect and diversity to impact our community's better place. So this is my thoughts of our community. So we have some kind of a comradeship, and which is based on respect and careness. And that comradeship make that connect and inclusive to people. And then the people contribute back. And that contribution makes our communities more healthier. Then the healthier ecosystem accommodate more people who have a very different background, and they sense the same comradeship and they respect others, and this is good circulation of our community. So yeah, I want to make this circulation in PyCon Korea. But at that time, PyCon Korea organizers very hesitate to organize development sprint because we don't have a famous project. We don't have a very, what can I say? We don't have any core maintainer of the famous project. So we thought that we couldn't do this thing. So I went to Japan and Hong Kong to organize sprint on my own. So left picture is in Japan. I met Horikoshi. Mr. Horikoshi is a maintainer of the Pandas, and we have Pandas development sprints during the PyCon Japan. And right picture is in PyCon Hong Kong. And sadly, there's no people come to my sprint, so I was only person who sprinting on the Pandas at the time. So I have two experience, and I think I'm ready to introduce development sprint in PyCon Korea. Before I cover PyCon Korea's case, this is a brief history of sprint. So PyCon's development sprint begin with PyCon itself. And in the early stage, there's only 2 days of sprints, but as time goes by, the sprint days is just expanding, increased. And now we have 4 days of sprint, and the sprint activities are expanding to another conferences, another communities. So yeah, like this. In Korea, wow, it's so fast. In Korea, Korean government sponsor open source projects. So open source lab is it's a small lab organized by Korean government. They sponsor open source project, and they pay for the open source developers to contribute some open source project. So the Korean government have similar events like sprint to promote open source. And also, the Mozilla Foundation, they have a documentation sprint. It's very similar with PyCon development sprints. So, yeah. So yeah, to contribute to the open source project, we need an issue, right? So many open source projects, they have very easy to fix issues for newcomers. So in Pandas, we have the good tag, which name is good first issues. So newcomers just filter the good first issues and they can fix the issues because it's a really, really easy one. So the main core maintainer do not touch the each issues because it blocks the newcomers come in to our community. Yeah, in this year, back in March, I guess, there's a worldwide Pandas sprint. So there's over 30 locations, including Hong Kong and Seoul. And during the day, it's a one day. Technically, it's not a one day because, you know, time zones difference, so it's moving on. So anyway, for one day, we made 246 pull requests on the for the one development sprint. So 2016, for PyCon Korea, we have two project sprint. One is Pandas and one is AIO, HTTP. We begin very small groups, and next year, the project is many other projects coming in, and we have 8 projects, and some projects are not Python project, but another community in Korea, they are very interested to join the sprint, so we welcome them to have their own sprints in the PyCon Korea venues. And people is really, really enjoy to attend development sprint. So after PyCon Korea, we organize another sprint event. So it's not for PyCon Korea, but just normal PyCon, development sprint. So during the sprint days, we have 4 projects, and the youngest attendee is only 10 years old. And this is the worldwide Pandas documentation sprint. And for this year, PyCon Korea 2018, the sprint group is growing. So this many people sprinting on their own project. And we have to limit the attended because of the room, the capacity. Yeah, this is the dashboard for Pandas sprints at PyCon Korea this year. And we collect all the issues and assign it to each attendees. And luckily, all the attendees made their own pull request during the sprint days. So yeah, time's up, okay. So to organize, if you want to organize your own sprint, you should remember that before you start, don't be afraid. So you don't, so it's not a hackathon. It's just improving your beloved open source project. So don't be afraid. You can start it from very smaller, easy issues. And do not have many people. I found up to 10% per project is works smoothly. If you have many attendees, then it gets messy. And after sprint, so I think post-promotion is more important than pre-promotion. So with post-promotion, you can encourage other people who couldn't attend the sprint, they can join next time. So before the sprint days, you need to prepare these kind of things. You need to fetch all the latest source code and check the building guide and follow the building guide for your own, so you can save your time during the sprint days. And it is really good to have some Slack or Git channel to communicate. And also, progress dashboard is really important. It can encourage people to see other people's progress and get motivated by them. During the sprint days, it is really important to balance independent work and reviewing each other's code. So as an attendee of the development sprint, you need to do your own, independent work, like code yourself, something like that. And you have to, you need to review each other's code as well. So it is really important to balance both things. So if you are focused on only one thing, then it's not a good experience to all the attendees. So so I had questions about the sprint days, and there's a question. They don't have a maintainer of the project, so it's not a problem. If you want to contribute that project, ask for the help to the project owner. Then they give you a guideline or issue list for the sprint. And it doesn't need a nice venue. So you can start it from cafe or in the school. So start as simple as you can. And also you don't need know about the project internals. So most of issues doesn't need its internal understanding. So Mark Garcia is a core maintainer of Pandas project, and he mentioned about the goals of sprint is the following. But I think the most important thing is don't get afraid to contribute to open source project. It's not hard. It's easy. Just come and we can do the rest together. So this is my final slide. Open source developers are sometimes very, really hard jobs. So this is some Korean open source project. Some people get mad about the bug, so he complained about the project. So we should understand open source developers are very, very important, and they are advancing our community and ecosystems. So we need to sponsor them. We need to help them to sustain their project. So that's it. So I'm sticking around here. So if you have some questions, then find me, and thank you.
Any question for Mr. Kim?
Yeah, so thank you for your talk. And I personally started learning programming not too long ago, and I'm just kind of curious. That's why I come here to meet the community. But what is the lowest requirement to be able to enjoy and can learn from a sprint like that? Like, what's the prerequisite?
I think curiosity. Curiosity is the lowest requirements. So if you want to solve a problem, if you want to find out what's the mechanism or how it works, So curiously, it is a basic, simple step for the programming world.
Yeah, because what like gives me an impression that like a lot of open source things are already pretty well established. So I don't know like from like in which part I can contribute.
No, it's not. It's not.
Because, like,
There's no project pretty well established. So
there's always some problems. that
right,
you
yeah,
can
there's
look
always
into.
problem, and I'm pretty sure that every open source project has their own issues, which is very trivial to maintainers, so they just neglected the issues. So we can fix the problem, and then we can save the co-developers' time, then they can focus on more important things. So it's the same valuable contribution, I think.
So will like PyConHK do something like that in the future, or? I'm just asking. Just
Any more questions? You mentioned about Panda Sprint. I happen to go to the Panda Sprint this March.
Oh, really nice.
Yeah.
And I bring some stickers, so I put it on the table here. So, yeah, enjoy.
Okay. Well, that's the end of this talk, and this is also the end of today's sessions. I have some announcement for